What up? This is your boy Checo.
This is your boy Noe. What up?
And this is Compas Unfiltered. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. Make sure you guys follow all of our social media, subscribe and like.
And make sure you go rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you drop a comment on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. Enjoy the episode. A little bit of a pop. That way I know it's Tagarano Machin.
See?
There you go.
I don't know about that deep voice, man. Trying to turn my boy on.
So that's
Este güey se prendió.
You're speaking for yourself. Speak for yourself.
It's just gonna disappear right now. Whoop. Nah. It's for the first beer. We can't go there.
Well, what happens in the second beer?
Best thing is we're gonna have to wait and see.
Ya se pusieron raros.
Speaking like a real Zacatecano.
Whoa.
Episode 120.
Episode 120. That's it. Cut that out.
That's how we start off.
Is it 120?
Yeah, 120, bro.
Nice.
Yeah.
The grind is there, bro.
So the other 119. How have those gone for you guys?
Good, man.
All right, bro. I can't complain.
No complaints, bro.
Nah,
Always
complain
fun.
whatsoever.
Always a good time.
For the most part.
Just thinking about it, right? You're 120. And I mean, I don't know. Are we recording now?
Yeah, we're already on.
Oh, all right,
we're
cool.
on.
Oh, cool. I wasn't sure. What have you guys learned? From when you started to where you're at. And the reason I asked that, for me, like, my mindset is always you got to get better, right? It's a continuous improvement mindset. Is, you don't have to be perfect. No one's gonna be perfect, but it's like, what are you learning and how you implement that in the next level and the next level and get better and better. So
I'm gonna let him take that one. That was a good one, bro.
Well, like you said, bro, it's like in everything. And if people who have listened to us and listened to like our first pod to like now, in my opinion, like sound has gotten better. Video, all that has gotten better as far as quality. También content, I think we're a little bit better than that as well. Improving, because it is kind of, I don't want to say it's difficult, bro, pero pues see, when you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you're doing a podcast and you don't want to sound so stupid and whatnot, but I mean, we just wing it también. But I think it gets better though, bro. And we bounce off of each other, we're like, I know when I get stuck, I know he's gonna jump in. And stuff like that. Where like in the beginning, I was kind of like, damn, we're both looking at each other like, pues qué, güey, pues tú, güey. No, güey, pues tú, güey.
Yeah, at the beginning, it was a lot of that, But like you said, production for sure has gotten a lot better, which is the main thing for people watching on YouTube or even the audio quality on Spotify, dog. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. Like, he tells me a lot. Like, I was trying to listen to this new podcast. They just started, but their audio wasn't there. And that turns them off right away. Like, I couldn't get through the first 10 minutes,
Yeah.
So that's probably been one of your major focuses. And topics, bro. Coming up with topics, getting important people in here, or even just interesting people, you know? Yeah. So that's the main take with it, bro.
Nice.
For sure.
And again, for me, it's always, how do you get better, right? And it's like, you live and learn, with anything. I'm like, look, I can waste time thinking of shit. I could have done this better. I could have done that. Or I could say, man, you know what? This is how we move forward. This is the things we do. This is how we change. This is how we adapt and just push things forward. I tell people, some people waste time thinking of, man, this went wrong, versus, hey, learn from it and just keep pushing.
Have you been this way your whole life, bro? Or what made you this way?
Honestly, bro, I feel like I'm down to earth. Always looking at the positives, and I think in life, I mean, I hate to waste time. I think people tell money, this and that, you can waste it. If you're wasting time, you're never gonna get that shit back. Think about that. You waste, say your 20s, your 30s doing shit, like all of a sudden you're gonna be in your 40s and like, damn. So I think the most valuable thing anyone has is time, right? And it's how you use that time. And I tell people, everyone has 24 hours a day, right? It's not like, hey, a Checo le van a dar 40 horas hora a toda madre, a mí 12. No, we all have 24 hours per day. It's how we use them. It's how, what we do that could really make you break you as a person. I mean, that's kind of the way I've been looking at life for many, many years. And probably where I'm at right now, just like, you know what? Shit happens. Is there days that we're down? Fuck yeah. I mean, nada es perfecto.
Perfect.
Right.
But I think I always have said it's how you rebound from those days. It's how you're able to let go and say, you know what? Today was a bad day. Hang up the cleats for today. And some people get stuck on, I got to make it better. I got to keep working on it. I look at you. I'm gonna cut my losses. Today was a bad day. I'm gonna sit down, watch some Sports Center or whatever it is. Y mañana es otro día.
Don't dwell on it.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. I mean, you're wasting energy doing that. Think about
100%.
it. Yeah. You know, and the thing is, it's not just you. Like, people get the vibe. Imagine your wife or your family. Like, you're feeding off vibes. I'm like, do you really want that? I wouldn't. I mean, straight up, I don't want that. You know, in your house, along your close friends. I mean, you really gotta like let shit go and just kind of move on.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring it back real quick. So this is our boy Ricardo, aka Chalk Entertainment. I gotta bring it back, bro. I gotta bring it back. And it's a good thing that you said the whole like not wasting time, and you've always been like that, because when I met you, bro, obviously we went through the whole like promoting scene, and perfect example in our 20s wasting our time. Back then, I was definitely wasting my time. I probably still am wasting my time. But back then, it was like, we'll make events, get a little bit of cash or whatever, we'll blow that shit off. Islas, whatever the fuck it is, bro. And you were different. And I say that, bro, because I had gone to your a home that you had purchased.
Yeah.
And this is your early 20s.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, bro, like, you're doing things that we weren't even thinking of, like purchasing a home.
Yep.
And you were thinking already like rehabbing it and whatnot. I was like, what the fuck? Like, esto que pedo, way. Like, he's not on. Not that you wouldn't party.
Oh,
you know,
definitely.
But I mean, you obviously knew when you wanted to do it, how you wanted to do it. But when I saw that, I was like, damn, bro. And I mean, I did have other friends, because they were purchasing homes and whatnot. But to be in that environment, that promoting environment, and when we're over here spending our money, either making other events or partying, like, you're over here like, yeah, bro, I bought a crib. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, that's fucking dope, bro.
It's a balance. I mean, think about it. Too much of something is bad. I mean, too much of anything, right? I mean, it's just, so for me, it's always like a balance. Like, you know, and for me, I'll be honest, you know, the promotion for me started I mean, I'm a 100% banda lover. Like, man, I can sit down, kick back, and just listen to the instruments play. And I love Aviento. Like, you know, and just, again, sit down, listen, let the instruments play.
Hell yeah.
That was my big thing that got me into, you know, why
the promoting thing?
Yep. Second was the business aspect. You know, I've always been a business person of looking at, I'm a finance-driven person. You know, it's just my day-to-day is kind of like, you know, you look at numbers, you look at what I tell people, like, if you can't keep track of what you're doing, like, how can you get better at it? You know, so you go back to finances. I tell people, if you can't keep track of how much you're spending, how can you get better at it? How can you save money? You can't, right? Because you don't know where your money's going at. Yeah. So I think the business aspect for me was, you know what? There's a marketing aspect, right? There's an operation, setting up, you know, relationship building with the bandas, like all that. Like, again, those are things and skills that you must have. Yeah. Like, you know, some people say, "Es desmadre." Of course. You know, I mean, we're out there, we're having some good time, but there's so much business elements in all this that's really what really triggered me into, you know what? I love the banda. There's the business side. Shit, let's marry this together. Let's put these together and let make things happen. That's how I really kind of got into that scene.
That's dope, bro. I mean, because for us, it was like you just kind of like, I had heard about you, right? I had heard about Chalk Entertainment, and shout out to Israel, who After Party, and they brought you in with, I don't know if you were part of After Party after a while, or it just kind of blended in. Or
me adoptaron. You know, I mean, I'll go back to that. I was doing, and I mean, you know, Alejandra's, that's you know, the tamborazos, that's where I started kind of doing the weekend gigs. And then for me, it was like, it was cool, but I'm like, I always looked at bigger picture. You know, I'm like, that's just a fundamental. Like, I'm building a foundation. I'm building understanding how this business operates. My idea was always to get bigger, you know, and whether it's, you know, keep the Chaka name, which, for, you know, when I met Israel and Paul, I still remember I sold them the idea of like, hey guys, let's have this three-way battle in Marielas. You know, tres tamborazos, tres norteños, tres bandas. And they were like, bro, that's too much overhead. And I'm like, cool, like, let me take most of that cost. Because I'm like, we never seen that, especially when you had like Potrillos and Viento and Arrasadora playing, you know, 1-1-1. It's like, that shit blew up. You know, that concept was different. And it was a lot of bands at that time. It was 9 groups that it was not unheard, right?
Right. I
mean, you had 3-4 groups playing, 2-3 tamborazos and maybe one banda.
Right.
So that concept pops up of saying like, like this is like the next level, you know, that I envision always, and that shit blew up. I mean,
yeah,
you know, and Mariela's was, I think we had 900,000 people, and that shit was crazy, man.
Hell yeah, it was.
It was fun.
Yeah, I forgot what was the title of that event.
Last Band Standing.
Last Band Standing, wasn't it? Yeah. Now I remember.
Yep. And then, I mean, you know, shout out to Paul. I mean, Paul with all the graphics, man. Uno de los más chingones, you know,
hell
designing.
Yeah. Well respected, bro.
You talk about his ideas, and you know, just bringing an idea to you know, the marketing behind it is so important, right? That people like, I could put all the bandas, but if that flyer doesn't look sexy, it doesn't. If I don't buy that flyer, I'm not going to the event.
Yep.
Like, think about how important that is. So when you have a team like that, I'm like, man, it's only, you know, you could only be successful. There's no other way.
Yeah. When did you get out, bro, of the whole like promoting scene? Like, when were you like kind of like, I'm gonna step away now?
2015. 2015. Yeah, and that's when I moved to Atlanta. So, you know, and ya para ese tiempo se estaba calmando a little bit, you know. We had some events that were a little bit rough here and there that, you know, again, I'm a person that will cut my losses, you know. So I noticed, I'm like, look, there's too much competition. There's smaller events. Now you know, people are being dispersed. But you could have 800 people. Now this person took 100. This person took 200, you know, and it was just too many, right? Que a todos les iba bien, poquito, but I'm like, that's not what I'm in for. I'm not in for the poquito. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the opportunity came to move to Atlanta, and really that's what said, look, you know what? I had my career, you know, for me, it's like, you know, I went to school. So I saw opportunity to move to Atlanta and really kind of new start, new beginning, you know, just try shit out. Yeah. You know, I mean, why not? You know, I think the worst thing anyone could do is kind of get in the comfort zone, and that's all you do. You're just kind of just, you know, chilling, doing that. I'm like, you don't grow in a comfort zone, 100%. You know, you're doing shit, same thing day in, day out. Like, how can you grow in that kind of environment? You can't.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what really that's happened. Made the move, and you know, the rest is history. From at least from that promotion.
From that, yeah. And I'm gonna, what I think is a timeline, right? You're gonna correct me, bro, because it's just like outside looking in, right? So you got married, you moved to Atlanta, or you moved to Atlanta, then you got married, and then it seemed like you were on a honeymoon for like 5 years, way, because like you like,
hey, I'm still on a honeymoon.
You're still on a honeymoon. Good answer.
Good points.
But I mean, you were traveling, way. You were traveling all over the world, which is what we talked about a little bit before, that it's like something that people set as a goal, like, oh, once I retire, or if I fucking hit the lotto, you know, I want to travel the world. Did you hit the lotto, way, that we just don't know about? Or
como dicen, ¿verdad? No les voy a decir, va a haber señales. Nah, I'm messing with you. No, dude, I mean, and we were talking about this, like, anything you want, if you make it a priority, you're going to make it happen, right? I mean, we were talking about, if you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you know, whatever you want to do, if it's a priority in your books, like, you're going to plan towards that. You're going to work. All your efforts, all your energy goes to that. And I think people underestimate the power of your mind. Like, think about when you're so gung-ho about, I'm going to do this, you make shit happen. Like, 100%. Like, your mindset, or, again, you say, nah, this is too hard, you're never going to do it.
Right.
Or if you always put obstacles or make excuses, it's never going to happen. I mean, and the mind is, I feel it's like, that's why I say, like, if you have a bad day, just hit that reset button, go to sleep, don't dwell on it. Next day, it's a next fresh start. You get up, do it all over again. You know, work on your goals, work on what you're doing. And then, honestly, when we moved to Atlanta, you know, we moved down for my wife's job, you know, so, and 100%, I mean, Atlanta in my mid to late 20s, it was a fun city. You know, I mean, it was one of those fun cities. And the other cool thing about Atlanta is that you have the surrounding cities around you. So we would go up to Nashville, right? You have Nashville, it's a 5-hour drive. So on the weekends, you're in Nashville. You want to go to Florida? Guess what? 5 hours, 6 hours. You want to go to New Orleans? 6 hours. You know, you had the weekend trips to those big cities, and we were out there, you know, traveling within there, really getting exposure to different cities. And I mean, something that in Chicago, to your point, you know, what was for me was before it was I'm working and I was promoting, right? And which I loved at the time, you know, but then I think people outgrow some things. You know, and for me, it was like, all right, cool. I need a new city. I need something different, new experience. You know, this kind of repetitive thing. You feel at some point like you got it, right? You done it. It's a check the box potentially, but for me, it was more like there's a lot more out there than just Chicago. You know, and there is. I mean, there's a lot more. Again, Chicago's home, but you get to a different city, you're like, damn, there's more. You know, and then again, you get so comfortable with the city that that's all you know.
Yeah.
That's and people, a lot of people won't leave, right? I mean, you even talk about, hey, go to Texas. Hey, no, it's too hot. Shit, it's cold here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So pick your poison. You know, you want the hot, you want the cold. What do you want? So that's kind of how things happen. But before we get started, let me.
Go ahead, bro.
Compa.
Oh.
Crack it open.
Acá está la otra.
¿Sí puede?
Ni modo que no pueda, güey.
Now under pressure, right?
There you go.
All right. So,
very good.
So we moved to Atlanta. We're there 2 years, and while we're down in Atlanta, we're planning our wedding. You know, we got married in Los Cabos, so it's in Mexico. And for me, it was always the mindset of, you know, my parents. Todo lo que ellos conocían era el rancho, right? Iban a Zacatecas, iban a Jerez, iban al rancho. Like, you know, and we grew up doing that. I mean, think about it. Summers, winters, you're going to that. That was what you were exposed to. I mean, and that obviously we loved it, right? We grew up with that thing. But for me, it was like I got to a point that I'm like, it's cool. I've done this so much. Like, there's more out there. So it's funny because I told my parents, I'm like, look, me voy a casar, but it's going to be in Mexico. Oh, great, you know, but it's not going to be in the rancho. One. Two, it's not going to be in Zacatecas. I'm like, and three, we're going to go to the beach. And first, you know, my dad's like, well, why? I'm like, because that's what we want. You know, that's what me and Lorena want. That's what we wanted, something different. So we planned our wedding in Los Cabos, November 2016. So we're coming on 7 years already. I mean, time flies, you know,
Yeah,
we had a banda there playing. I mean, it was a shit show. I mean, you know, one of those things that you envision, like you have la banda. Remember que bajamos la banda a la playa. You do la vibra de la mar. You do all that crap. You know, you're getting drunk, shots, and, you know, remember, like, we had a welcome dinner, we had a norteño, and then we had like a Mayan show going on with fire and all that crap. And it's experiences, and then that's something I'll get to a little bit. But I now spend my money on experiences. You know, it's not the nice big car or the nice next big thing. I'm like, because those are material things, you know. And if you think about it, anything that's material, you'll get you'll get a hype. You get a hype when you go, you buy it. Give it a couple more days, and either you get tired of the toy, or you're just like, it's here. My new TV, I got used to the 80-inch TV. Yeah. You know, so for me, it's more, I need the experience. I want the experience. And that's really what, you know, took me to doing the La Boda en Los Cabos. Was my parents had never traveled to the beach. So I'm like, cool, we're going to get married there. If you guys want to go to my wedding, you're going to have to go to the beach. You know, and first of all, it was primero like, damn, like, and then we started telling people, and we're like, oh shit, like this is pretty cool. This is a cool concept. We've never been to a wedding like that. You know, and we told a lot of our family, and I mean, I think we had like 110, 120 people at the wedding. You know, so a lot of people flew out for that. And I mean, I remember our unos güeros que tengo amigos in Atlanta, they're like, I can't drink anymore, dude. After 2-3 days, they're like, this is the most alcohol I have consumed in a 2-3 day span. They're like, I can't do it. Like,
how long were you guys there for? 7 days?
7 days. I think
a week. Yeah.
We were there for 10 days because we got there a little sooner, but most of the people were there 10 days. I mean, sorry, 7.
7 days.
And every day we had something for them. Like, we planned out on like something for them so they could leave with that experience of shit. I like this, you know, this is different, but I had a good time, you know. And I think that was, in my mind, was I want to make sure people have that experience. And I feel, dude, a lot of our family friends after that, they started traveling a lot more because they saw the exposure that, hey, it's not just the rancho. It's not just the city, right? There's a lot more out there for the world for you to see. And again, it was a small glimpse going to Cabos. I mean, it's a tourist destination, but a lot of people hadn't been, you know. But I'm telling you, we had like the welcome dinner. You know, we had the norteño playing. Then we had norteño on the beach one other day. I remember we had a banda. It's funny, actually. These guys were from Fresnillo. So funny story. In una banda de Zacatecas in Los Cabos, and we just bumped into them in some bar, and I got their number because I went there twice before the wedding. And the guys told me, like, yeah, some of the Fresnillo, and some of the guys were from Valparaiso, which is, even crazier, right? Because that's where my wife's from with her family. But the guys flew from Fresnillo or Zacatecas to Los Cabos because they were going to go to a wedding in Canada.
Holy shit.
Whatever the promoter no se acomodó, nos pasó, and they got stuck in Cabos. And they told me the story. They're like, look, we started playing on the beach for free. Like, we had to get some money, And like, people started, nos estaban dando, and then se plantaron ahí, y ahí están en Los Cabos, and they're from Fresnillo, So you talk about me asking about all the fucking canciones de Zacatecas, they knew everything. Like, that for me was probably one of the biggest things that I'm like, I'm going to get a banda from Mazatlan.
You couldn't have planned it better.
Yeah, correct. I'm like, a banda from Mazatlan, you'll get a sick-ass banda, right? But they're not going to know a lot of those songs. Your Zacatecas songs, when you're drunk, man, that's what you want to hear.
Hey, well, I mean, I can't agree, but yeah.
Yeah, you could.
I'm assuming,
for you
guys. Hey, bro, if you, I'm more, obviously, I'm also curious about like the rest of the world that you visited, but monetary, like how much, if you don't mind, más o menos, if someone's planning back in 2016, whenever you did it,
So I'll tell you this, and not to shy away from the question of how much you can spend as however much money you want, right? Because and then I'll tell you this: everyone travels in a different life or lifestyle, or they like different likes and dislikes. Just like people that live here, yo tengo mis gustos, tú tienes tus gustos, right? Some people want the big TV, some people want the big house. So there's no difference than when you go travel around the world. Like, you'll get, if you want luxury, you'll find it.
There's something fancy for everything, way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, my thing with my wife, yo siempre le decía, think about it. You travel for 7 days, you're on a vacation, right? You want luxury. Why? Because your time is so, you have 7 days, you have whatever it is, 5 days. Te vale madre. Like, el dinero, you're like, yo, bro, I'm going to spend a couple grand, me vale madre, I'm here for a good time, I'm out. Right. So for me, it was like, my selling point to her was like, look, we're not living a 5-star style life at Chicago, and you can't really take that if we're going to travel for so long. So, I mean, there's some places, dude, in the world that are so cheap that, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. I think I spent $800 in a month in Ecuador, $800. And I have my hotel room. That's my food. That's doing activities. That's going out. I'm like, $800 for a month for two. That's cheap.
You were in Ecuador for a whole month?
2 months.
Holy shit.
And not being conservative at all with your money?
I mean, oh yeah, of course. I mean, I think, you have to, I had where to sleep, right? I'll be honest. At times we were cooking at home because we would get an Airbnb, or sometimes you get you would rent part of a house and then you had access to their kitchen, right? So, I mean, like, I told my wife, we're living in these places. We're not just, it's not a vacation.
It's not a vacation. You guys were,
yeah. We're traveling. We're, visiting the culture. And then the reality is, like, we're just taking our lifestyle all around the world. I'm like, so había días que nos íbamos un día llegábamos, next day we're at the supermarket,
Okay.
Pan, tortillas, milk, your basic stuff that you need like anyone else.
Right.
But now we were just living somewhere else.
Here's a question. How difficult was it to adjust to that mentality or mindset of like, hey, bro, we're not on vacation? Like, I feel like I would have a hard time doing that.
Yeah. I think you start when you start seeing your bank account go down.
Okay. So you guys struggle with that a little bit.
We started in Europe, and that was very intentional for me because Europe was going to be the most expensive area that we would visit. Because I told my wife, if we start in like Mexico, South America, and then Asia, we're not going to Europe. Because you're gonna be like, what do you mean? What the hell? $100 for a night, $80 for a night? What the? I'm not going. So we started with Europe because it was very similar to the US. And to your point, yeah, there was a $100 tour. Whatever, let's just go. And then I'm like, is that really the best way to spend our money if we're gonna be here for 6 months? Right? That was the conversation we had. And then, all right, we got a little bit smarter, right? Let's do things on our own. And again, I talk about the continuous improvement, the getting better. It's like you're learning, right? And I'm like, we just got good at traveling. You know, it really is like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. If I have to wait another week for a flight because it's gonna be $200 cheaper, I'm gonna wait because I was not on the time crunch. You know, so I think that's the biggest thing of when you're traveling and you're living over there, you have a lot more flexibility than when you're there for a vacation and you just don't.
You gotta come back or whatever, work or whatever the case may be.
During these 2 years, wait, are you still working like kind of like remote type of thing, or is it like you just going off of your savings or whatever you have saved for this trip? Or
so essentially we left Atlanta, and then so what got me into this? It was a Netflix. It was a backpacking Netflix thing, and then I remember that one was me and my wife, and I'm like, hey, we could do this, right? And she's like, you know what, go to sleep. That's local, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, it's the crazy people that change the world. But I'm like, cool, I'll take that as a compliment. Estoy loco, vete a dormir. Next day, I wake up, I go to work, bro. I'm fucking building this Excel with how much it's gonna cost, how much we can save. I go home and I be like, hey, if we spend X, whatever, $80 a day, $100 a day, do the math. It's $3,000 a month. And then she's like, you're like serious about this, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm serious. I'm like, you know what? When are you gonna get an opportunity like this? I'm like, we spoke about it. Like it's this wishful thinking when I retire. I'm like, bro, we're gonna retire. Hopefully, hopefully llegamos a retirement age, right? That's the first one.
Facts.
Second, hopefully you're healthy. Like, think about it. Like, when they say, well, you don't know what's out there in the next 5, 10, 20 years for us. So for me, it was like, I started selling. One was the finance side of things. Then it was what? If we do this, all I'm going to do is borrow. And this is quote unquote, this is my words. I'm going to borrow 2 years from my retirement age and just take them right now in my late 20s. I'm like, we can do whatever the hell we want.
So by that, you meant like taking from your 401k or something?
No, just from
just the
mindset of I'm a retire.
I don't know if you literally meant it like
no. Just borrowing those years. Why wait till you're 67 or 62, whatever that retirement age is. Obviously, it's not in my head because quién sabe si
who knows. You've pitched that to her.
I said, let's just take it right now. I'm like, you want to do this, you want to do that, let's do it right now. Estamos, dijo unos vivitos y coleando, y like, why not? And for me, it's always been you should do the things that you're passionate about. Like 100%. I'm like, if you one day wake up and, you dislike your job or whatever, I'm like, ¿para qué sigue uno sufriendo? Right? Yeah, it's going to hurt, of course. Any financial decision is going to hurt. But I'm like, it's going to relieve you. If you're not comfortable, if you're in a bad relationship, whatever it is, like, just cut those ties. Like, I think a lot of us just keep doing it because es lo que saben, es lo que están a gusto. That's all we know. But I'm like, man, there's so much more, right? There's so much more. And again, going back to the traveling was, and I'm just thinking now, going through my mind, todos los pinches lugares que vi, which is fucking insane. But so we did 6 months in Europe.
Hold on. Don't skip down the process. So you pitched this finance sheet to her.
Yeah.
How did you actually convince her? Did she quit? Did you quit?
We both quit our jobs.
Okay, so it happened. You guys were like,
So
hey, I ain't coming in.
Yeah, no.
The next 2 years.
No. So we both went, and we were trying to. So we were in Atlanta 2 years. We got married. We were at a point that like we want to start a family. You know what I mean? Like, vamos a empezar una familia, but I'm like, it's not gonna be in Atlanta because we're by ourselves. It's like we met a lot of cool friends, but eran amigos y todo. I actually last year I went to visit some guy that I play softball with. Really cool guy. Abel lo conocimos playing the softball is the Stone Park, and he was living in Atlanta. Y me lo topé, and we just kicked it off. So we went to visit them, and for me, it's like, what? Like, I'm like, I want to move back to Chicago. I'm gonna start my family, but our jobs did not want us to move, which is great. I'm like, I respect that, but there's I want
that's your life.
Yeah. I'm like, and I get it. And this is where I feel like the balance act of un trabajo, your life is just more. I hate to say it, right? Work is work. Your life is your life. Like, think about it. Algo pasa, your job's gonna backfill you, right? They have to keep operating. your family's the one suffering, not them. So for me, I've been in HR now for 12, 13 years, and I'm not going to get away from your question, right?
But, no, you're fine.
But I seen it. I'm like, it always comes down to finances. How's the company doing? Are they meeting what the stakeholders want? And if they're not, guess what? They got to cut heads. They got to cut costs. And I mean, at the end of the day, todas las personas son un numerito en Excel. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said it when I got here, right? I'm like, that's the reality. I'm like, if you're a shareholder and you got investment, you want to see a return. Si no, ¿pa qué chingados poner tu dinero? And then if that requires cutting some heads and showing a profit, that's what you're going to have to do. And I mean, I seen it. I've been, again, in HR now for 13, 14 years. I see in too many different companies. I mean, that's just the way of business. That's the shit. That's the way things work. And I hate to say it, but it's la verdad.
Es la verdad. So that right there, the fact that they didn't want you guys to move back to Chicago helped your situation to say, hey, let's jump on this right now.
Yeah, I was like, me voy a ir, right? I was like, we're going to go to Chicago. Les dije, and then I think for me it was more of I'm going to do this. I'm going to travel. Like, a job is not going to hold me back. Like, gracias a Dios, hay oportunidades. You te presentan aquí, acá. And I mean, I'll be honest, I've been blessed, with networking with people of, hey, I know Ricky does this. I mean, you want to get a good person in your team who's bilingual, who's, can understand both cultures. I mean, that's a whole different topic, but so for me, it was like, we're going to leave Atlanta. Job, no job, me vale madre. Voy a regresarme. So we sold everything we had in Atlanta. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, sillones, teles, todo. I mean, honestly, whatever fit in my car and her car, that's all we cut. Everything else, a lo tiramos o lo vendimos. And again, not saying you made a lot of money, because we are what I like to consider like a minimalist, right? Basic things, just, if I need un sillón of those, that's all I have. I don't have 8. A ver cuando los quiero usar. You know what I mean? Like, I don't spend that money on a ver que. For me, it's like, this is what I need. That's what I get. So was able to sell everything. Drove to Chicago. And before going, I said, it was funny because the Cubs were in Fenway Park. Like that weekend, we had a one-way ticket to London. And then I said, I got to go see the Cubs in Fenway. Like, I don't know when I'm going to have an opportunity again to go, And yeah, we went to Fenway. It was Cubs, Boston. I mean, you think about baseball. For baseball people, that's like one of the top places you want to go and see a ball game. And you had your team. For me, it's the Cubs, and the Red Sox going at it. It was awesome. In Boston, it was the 3 weekend we were there at the games, and then we had a one-way ticket to London. I said, let's buy it. We'll just go. Yeah, ver que. I booked 2 weeks in London, because we wanted to visit a lot and we were there doing a lot of stuff. And then everything was just more on, what do you want to do? We started talking, and my wife's like, well, I want to go to Italy for a month. I'm like, cool, we'll go. I'm like, but I want to go to Germany for Oktoberfest. I want to go to Spain for, the party in Ibiza. And I'm like, cool, let's just book it and go. So we were in the UK, we're about a month. We did a lot in the UK, headed over to Ireland. And then Ireland, I mean, you talk about Guinness. I mean, I don't know how, if you guys like dark beer, but probably the best damn beer I have had has been a Guinness in a random pub in Dublin or Galway, which is the other town close to it. And not even strong. They are so good. People you see dark beer, it's like, hey, this shit's strong. That was so crisp and clean. I'm still talking about it. And it's been, how many years? 6, 7. But just walking into those pubs, like 1,500, 1,600 pubs, and you're just sitting with older people, just talking. It's life changing, dude. I think for me, it was 100% life changing. That you talk about. I went from Chicago, made the move to Atlanta, nos casamos en Los Cabos. Now I'm over here in Europe. Kind of.
And that was your first time being in Europe?
No, we actually went to Europe back in. Damn, I'm going to get my ass kicked for this one. 2014, 2015. Shit. So we got engaged in Paris. So,
shit. You should have known that.
I know. Checo? Delete.
No. Edit. That stays in.
So you guys already liked it.
We had. Okay. We were in Paris and then Barcelona. We did like 10 days, and we got engaged in Paris, and we had to Barcelona. So I already had experience there, but this was different, right? Because I'm like, we have a one-way ticket, and I'm like, then we don't have a job to come back. I'm like, this is like, you talk about freedom, like feeling like $1 million, dude. Like, man, there's no better, feeling that say I could do. Lo que me da la pinche gana ahora. And then that was the feeling for 2 years, right? Of waking up and today I want to chill here, cool. I want to go lay down on the beach all day, cool. Let's have a beer. But again, that freedom, and when I started, we talked about time, right? Like the most valuable thing people have is time, and I think that I still hold to that because time is such a big important thing that it's when you waste it, you could easily turn 40, 50, and you're like, damn, ¿qué pasó? ¿Dónde se fue el pinche tiempo?
Yeah.
Did you think at any point, bro, like halfway through this journey, right? Halfway through Europe, the countries in Europe, that you were like, hey, man, maybe we're not going to make it. Like we should probably head back. Or like, was she in doubt? Like, hey, you know what? This bank account looking light, bro. Do we really want to do this? Or like, should we start heading back? Or did you guys have these conversations more frequently than you thought you would? Or not really?
Not really. I think our mind was set of we want to do a year. You know, so that was our mindset. Was look, we planned for a year, like we're gonna do this. Did it get hard at times? Yeah, but again, life is hard in general. Mm-hmm. Things get hard here at home, right? I'm like, so it's not like anything like you're being out there and things are hard over there. It's just life in general is tough. So did it have hard days? Of course, everyone has hard days, right? Pero like I'm telling you, like I went to this one way mentality. I'm like, I'm gonna explore. I'm gonna live it up. I'm like, we'll get back to it. And I don't think I'm a person, I will never second guess my decision. When I make a decision, I'm all in. I'm all in. I think what you can do, the worst thing you can do, second guess it or halfway, and then you start like, shit, I should have done. And you start backing up. So whatever you have invested, you lose that, right? Whether it's momentum, whether it's time, whatever it is. Like you lose that. So I'm like, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do it right. Me voy a meter todos los pinches kilos, ¿verdad? Que todo que se necesita.
What was the toughest thing? Being away from family or just being in countries you've never been in, language, food. Did you guys get sick out there?
So funny enough, dude, we did not get sick.
¿En todo ese tiempo?
Never. I think.
Wow.
One time we got sick. One time. I have to get it. And it was like a stomach bug or something. It happens. But you talk about a cold, nunca. Hurt. And you know what? The funny stuff is, you're here, flu shots. For 2 years, no agarré nada de medicina. I was fucking living it up.
You felt great.
I felt great. And then you get here, flu shot season, esto y la madre, y ahora esto. All of a sudden, you feel sick.
Did you guys lose a lot of weight?
Oh, con ganas ahorita de estar... back to that weight. I mean, I think, and the reason is you lose weight because you're so active.
A lot of walking.
Oh, hell yeah. Imagine you go from maybe 8 hours, like right now, working at home to 8 to 10 hours. You're out there walking, exploring, it's hot. And I mean,
you're eating healthier, probably just different.
You're cooking yourself. You have all that time to do that versus now you're running, right? Like, we got to pick this up quick. Boom.
Food's not as processed and shit in part of other countries. We got the bullshit over here. Yeah, all that, bro. Bullshit. You said it's all bullshit?
I said we got major bullshit.
Oh, yeah, we definitely got major.
Here you go, compa. Here's one, too. How strong did that bond with your spouse become? Like, because this is a lot of learning all at once, bro. A lot of learning all at once.
Yeah.
Whether it just be the experience or... but you don't even have to count in the experiences, just within marriage itself.
Oh,
you guys are probably learning each other as well.
You think about it, because people get married and either you go to work, she goes to work. So your afternoons, weekends, vacation, that's the time you're together, 100%, right? So we were attached by the hip for 2 years, dude. Like, you talk about creating a strong bond and knowing what ticks someone off. Like, we knew exactly. I knew when she had, she was down, or she knew when I was down. Like, you learn so much more. If anything, I think it creates such stronger, like, a bond, even stronger. I mean, you're married, right, for a reason. But something like this, I always told people, it builds that character. Like,
I'm sure,
it really builds that character. And it's something that you will never gain whether it's, again, I tell people behind a desk or working somewhere, like you're never gonna get that experience.
I got more questions, bro. You got anything?
Oh, I got questions, but I know your ass was gonna go in, bro. Because to me, I'm more curious. Like the food, did you try anything that you didn't want to try, but you tried it anyways because you're there? Me, bro, is like I'm afraid like insect bugs and shit that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like all that shit that's like not. You go to fucking Texas and you see shit that we don't see over here. Yeah. Like one of my things is like jellyfish or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, I see Walmart, and then I get stung by a jellyfish, and someone's got to pee on me or some shit. It's true way.
Hey, it sounds like you're looking forward to that.
No. Not for you. Like what was it for you? Like as far as like food or whatever, did you?
I mean, I'm gonna start off by saying I'm a picky eater. Like I'm gonna say that. So I was never like into like some fruits and shit. And again. Can you have like a 5-course meal every day if you want to? Of course. Pero te va a costar. So for me, it was more of a, all right, I'm a try to get different foods. One, because they're cheaper, right? So you go eat what they're cooking, like, versus going to order in the menu. I'm like, cool, what do you have? Oh, pues tenemos esto. Ay, ¿cuánto vale? Whatever, Like, I'll give you an example. In Mexico City, I never knew this because being from Zacatecas, you go there or wherever, Mexico, anyone in Mexico goes there 5 days, 10 days. You're buying your tacos, your tortas, whatever. La Ciudad de México tiene lo que le llaman el pinche menú del día, which I was like, So I met some guy, de Oaxaca, el compa Uri. We hung out like for a couple months in Mexico. Él decía, vamos al menú del día. Y me and my wife were like, ¿qué pinches el menú del día? He's like, basically, you go to a restaurant and they're cooking that specific, like enchiladas or mole, whatever. And that's what they're selling. So they cook so much que te pueden reduce their price. So I would walk in there, and then menú del día has your drink, your thing, 80 pesos. And I mean, we talk about it.
4 or $5.
And you're talking about it was
big portions.
Yeah, big portions, man. And esas cosas, like when you're on vacation, you're not looking for that shit.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
You're of course not. Los mariscos, que dónde está esto, que lo más caro, que el más chingón restaurante, que voy a levantarme el pinche cuello. I was like, one, I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm traveling with my wife. Like at this point,
well, you guys were on a mission. Yeah.
Different.
You know what I mean? You guys are on a mission. So
I mean, but it's things like that. And then even I would go to people, like different countries or whatever. Be like, hey, where do you guys recommend to eat? Oh, well, here. I'm like, let me rephrase the question. Where do the locals and where do you go eat? What's your favorite restaurant? Oh, go this way. And then you get into it and I'm like, shit, couple bucks. I mean, I was in Indonesia, so we were in Bali. Like, this was like one of my wife's, I gotta go to Bali.
Bucket list.
100% beaches. I said beaches, not bitches. The beaches, pristine, it's beautiful. And remember, we stayed at at a hotel, and a lot of those are like, some people's like, they have their own houses, right? And they convert them into like hotels. But we paid, I remember, $10 or $11 a night. You had your own private area. They gave you breakfast, and then dinners were like $1 or $2.
Snap.
So
why was it so cheap?
It's just, bro, that's what it is. Asia is a cheap country.
In general, así, güey.
Yeah, so
barato, güey.
Ponte a pensar, $10 para dormir, $2, $3, $4 para comer. You're spending $15 a day, $18 a day entre los dos. Do the math for 30 days.
So those were your come up countries.
Of course. So that's what I'm saying.
We're back in the game, baby.
It really was.
That's
because
crazy.
I mean, you go to Europe. Europe is like the US. I mean, big names, big country. I mean, again, it's one of those, I want to go there. And that's how I felt. And then the other countries where I want to go experience this, right? But you're not going to find that kind of prices in Europe. You're not going to find that prices in the US. Right? That's
so
reality.
You consider that was one of the cheapest places you guys went to?
Central America. Again, I go to like Ecuador, Peru. Peru was cheap too. But Asia specifically, like Thailand. Thailand was cheap. Again, you look at the Philippines was actually cheap too. I mean, you're looking at 10, 20. Now, if you really want to splurge, $30, $40 for a hotel room.
And you're getting something nice.
You're getting like
5-star.
I'm surprised you guys didn't actually just say, "Hey, man, it's only $30, man. We pay way more in Europe." You know,
think about that. You start doing that, and all of a sudden, shit starts adding up. Yeah. You know, and then again, I'm a very basic person. I'm like, do I need this? I will always question myself. Do I need this? And, you know, there's a difference between I want and I need.
Yeah, as long as it was clean, you were like, "Hey, we can take this. Like, this looks good."
I was gonna say that in AC way. I can't.
Oh yeah. I actually stayed at a couple spots with no AC. Never recommended.
Yeah.
Pinche calor. You know, and then sometimes you're like, you know what, you can't.
But did you do it on purpose, or it kind of just happened that way?
Well,
like, yo,
one kind of happened that way, which was, you know, a different story. But the other one, I'm like, look, it's not that hot. Let's just stay. Actually, I remember staying. We were in Spain, in Sevilla, and this guy had an Airbnb, and he was promoting his AC. You know, la madre. That's one of the funny stories. Que worked fine. I get there, and I'm like, cool, you know, estamos ahí, and like, you know, we have like our bedroom, our kitchen, and then he had his area, right? So we were separated. Pero he was the one with the AC, lo controlaba. Y ya le dije, yo le dije, compa, ya hacen los españoles. Le dije, está caliente. Hace poco it was 100 degrees, bro.
You're like, you better kick that shit off.
In the
outside in Sevilla.
Oh, okay,
Sevilla is really dry. Pero yo me quedé ahí because it had the AC. Pues ese cabrón no lo prendió en 3 días. Estuve ahí.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And you couldn't like complain.
I mean, you complain to like Airbnb or whoever you booked through or give them a bad review, but it doesn't change the fact. Que esos 3 días se la rascó uno and it was fucking hot. You know what I mean?
How often were you staying with people like this? Where you're, you know, because that's also something scary, right?
I never felt fear. So I think, you know, a lot of these places you book, whether it be Airbnbs or Booking, they're in Asia, there's agoda.com or whatever. Like they have really good reviews. Like some people, this is a business for them. Like, you know, they have a spare room or they have the bottom, you know, area with a bathroom, a kitchen. That's, you know, more income for them. So some of them were like top-notch host. You know, it's like I come here, Checo has the space here. Hey, Ricky, te lo voy a rentar a week. What do you need? You know, hey, whatever you need, let me know.
No, I know that part, but I also know the other part of the world, which is there are a lot of crazy people. So
true,
just in that way, you know. And I was gonna lead to this question too. Like, did you guys have any scares? How did you guys plan to travel to a different country and like actually have a location set before nighttime, or how to avoid scary places or bad neighborhoods? And because this is everywhere, right?
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, honestly, dude, it was a lot of just research. You know, you based a lot of stuff on reviews. You based it off on funny stuff. I would look and you could check if there's a Starbucks close by. That's always a good indicator, which is nuts, right? You don't think about that. Starbucks are going to be in a location where people can afford it.
Yep.
They're not going to go in the hood. They're not going to go in the... ¿Quién chingado ir a pagar $8 por un café?
So you guys would look at stuff like that.
I mean, you build te pones más chingón. Yes, I'm telling you, you improve. I mean, we were talking about.
So did you guys stay at places that were super sketchy at first, and you're like, we can't afford to do this, man. This is too much.
We had 1 or 2, but again, the host was top notch.
Where was this? What places?
So the first, actually, this was in not the UK. Well, it's southern United Kingdom. It's called. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. They had I forgot the Champions League final there in 2017. Cardiff. Se llama Cardiff. And nos quedamos con alguien que eran, I think they're Muslim. And then they had awesome reviews porque te daban de comer and everything. But their area was a little bit sketchy, you know? And we were there a couple of days. And then again, like, you live and you learn, right?
You're like, all right, we got to go.
A couple of days, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm going to call it quits, you know?
Any scares, though?
Not like...
Major?
No, man. Gracias a Dios. Honestly, dude, like, I am a person who likes to be alert. Like, I go in anywhere and I scan my surroundings. Like, you know, just, you got to understand where you're at all times. You know, especially when it's you. I mean, todos si fuera uno solo, te vale madre. But you're there with your wife, you know? So maybe there's some spots that she would look, I'd rather stay here. I feel more comfortable. Cool. So yeah, you pay a little bit more, but at least you're comfortable, right? Versus trying to stay here. Like, I mean, we spend a month in India India is I mean, it's different. I just say it that way. You know, it's different. It's I remember we took a flight from from Chicago. We were in Shanghai, and then we went to Delhi. You get to India, bro. You talk about all your senses hitting at the same time: noise, smelling, seeing, like boom.
It's intense.
It's intense. And then that was like one of the first times that I was like shocked a little bit, like
culture shock.
Damn.
Was it a little bit scary?
The primero, yeah. I mean, but again,
is it like in the movies though?
Like in what way? Like 30?
Third world country, like
kind of like how you said it, bro. Like everything, senses, seeing, like everything is packed streetwise.
Oh yeah, I mean, so you'll see over there what you'll see. Like, I mean, again, la gente no toma agua because the water's, so if you don't have like bottled water, I remember people drinking soda versus water. Like,
but I mean, I watched Slumdog Millionaire, bro. They used to fill those bottles of water and then just glue it. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, dude. So I mean, I never got sick there, right? I mean, I'll be honest. One of the best foods, is India. I mean, if you like,
everybody says that, bro, and I can't get past the curry smell, bro.
If you like spicy food,
I do, but I can't get past the smell, dude. I've tried it. I've tried like to get past it.
Yeah.
And I've had friends, bro, that hype it up so much. Like, man, some of the best cuisine, bro. Indian food, bro. You gotta try it. And I love spicy, bro. But as soon as that curry smell hits my nose, bro, I'm turned off, dude. Like completely. Completely. I'm like, yeah, I can't, bro.
Is that considered Mediterranean food? The Indian food?
No creo,
or is that just completely different?
I have no idea, dude.
I only ask because like you have like the pita inns and whatnot, and I see a bunch of Indios like going in there too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's similar.
I think it's similar. They have something, un pan que se llama naan, or eso como
la tortilla, ¿no?
Yeah, the más grueso. Es como, it's like a pita bread.
Yeah. Pita bread, yeah.
Bien grueso, and that's what they comen con.
But I don't think they have the same seasonings way as the Middle Eastern people.
No, I think their spices are like you were to go to like markets in India. Like spices, dude, like random stuff of like markets of spices, like that was a huge thing, but getting back to that, like that was one of the countries that really shook us, the traveling, because again, you've been in Europe and you're like, I got this shit, I can travel by myself, and you go to this country like this, and hay gente, I'm gonna be honest, haciendo el baño en la calle, cows are sacred, so if a cow's in the street, your ass better go around it. You can't really do anything with it. And then again, it's just a different. It's India is a country you're gonna love and hate within 5-10 minutes. And the reason I say that is because it has some of the most beautiful places. Like we went to I'm trying to the seventh wonder of the world. Now I'm trying
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. Here we go. Taj Mahal, and it's insane. It's beautiful. And then as soon as you leave that, boom, afuera está todo. And you're like, damn. Like I was just in here like, all chingon over here, loving it. And then you go out and it's like a whole different world.
And is it like Mexico a little bit in the sense of like, you can tell the people that have money?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. So like, it's like different pockets. Different pockets. 100%. I mean.
How much time were you there, bro?
1 month.
1 month in India. Okay.
Yeah, that was so we did a couple things, and then we were in the northern part. So we were, I think, I'm not that great with geography, but I think Iraq, one of those countries, borders India up there, and we went close to that border, to the desert. And again, it's a beautiful country. It's just it's a culture shock. Like, damn, it just hits you. It hits you, and you're not used to it. And you're like, oh yeah, I've been to Mexico. Yeah, this is so.
Now, how populated is it? Way overpopulated just in the city areas, or even as you get to like the farm areas or the farmland? Yeah, like more rural. Is it still overpopulated as well?
I think the cities are just.
That's where it's real congested.
But you think about it, that's where people would actually even go work, right? You start getting outside.
There's not much to do.
Yeah, so that's why those cities where we go to are just like. They were packed. There was people everywhere, man. And again, you talk about your senses just working all at the same time. That's when you're like, oh, holy shit.
Did you drink coffee off the street, bro? Like the fools that are making the coffee?
No. That looks dope.
That looks crazy, bro. It looks a little dirty though, but
it does.
I mean, think about it. ¿Con qué pinche agua lo hicieron, yo creo, right?
Yeah.
That's true. That's facts.
That was stirring it with his finger, too. I'm like, yo, you wildin', bro. That's foul, dog.
Lick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, like...
What is that, though? Because they be mixing it super quick. How many cups? And boom, boom, boom.
I see, like, tea. Like, tea's a big thing.
Okay.
You know? I don't know if that... I'll be honest, I haven't seen that. So I don't know if it's tea, but...
It's probably tea.
I mean, if they boil it, I don't want to say you're good, but chances are whatever was in there, if it's bad... It's at least gonna kill it, right?
Yeah.
You hope. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, man. Again, to this day, I'll say it, right. India was one of those countries that it's like a wake up call. It humbles you 100%, man. Mira, ahorita estamos aquí a toda madre con lazy, todo relaxed.
You didn't have this in India.
No, bro. You get humbled really quick. You know.
Yeah. How did you find places to eat there in India? How easy was that, or how difficult was it to find a place that you could say, "Hey, I think we could eat here"?
Preguntando, or again, I mean,
you have a lot of trust in people, bro.
You have to, man. You have to
when you're doing that, right?
I was like, yeah, I think you have to.
You
right?
have to because think about this, right? You go to someone's country, and I mean, you look at, you know, it was funny also when we were traveling. People would ask us, "Where are you guys from?" Nunca dije the U.S. I would always say Mexico, and then a lot of people told me, you know, a lot of people around the world. No les gusta. They don't like Americans because they're rude at times. They feel like, you know, you got to serve them, and they're like, well, you're in our country. You know, I know you're spending your money. I get it, but like show some level of respect.
Of course.
You know, so like entitlement, you know, sometimes kicked in. And for me, yo siempre decía, oh, someone's de Mexico. Someone's de Mexico. Oh my God, Mexico. Okay, venga, blah blah blah. You know, and even in India, like we're from Mexico. You know, and
show love.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. I know. I already know we can keep going for like another 5 hours if we want to. But I am gonna ask us so can you name your top spots that you would want to go back to?
Damn.
And your least?
So again, the least, just because unless some people really like the culture and stuff, like India would be, again, a love-hate. You know, if you really want to go there just to explore, and it would be hard to do it a solo travel. I think if you like do like a group or like a tour with someone, they probably schedule it, set it up for you. Great, you know, that would be a good experience. A lot of this we did our own. You know, we were doing our research, we booked our own stuff, we were just winging it, right, by ourselves. Favorite, and there's a lot. If you're an outdoors person and you like to like hike and just be, you know, in the nature, I mean, Peru, man, Peru has probably one of the best. I mean, the Andes Mountains. Remember, we did a trek for 5 days.
What was that? I had seen your Snapchat and now I'm remembering. It was like a fuck, man. It's like you had a view of like the mountains. Maybe it was Peru.
That's Peru, and that's probably one of my backgrounds, dude. So we hiked 50 kilometers in the Andes over, I think it was 4 or 5 days, and people are like, 50 no es mucho, but you're in that altitude, you know, 5,000 meters, bro. You walk a little bit, anda uno sufriendo.
You're winded.
Yeah, man. You're not used to it, right?
Here you had a guide, right?
This one, yeah. We did 5 days.
Camping and todo el pedo.
Yep. But again, right, 100%. I tell, like, this was, you have no internet, you have no power, right? They're grabbing water like de las pinches montañas como va cayendo la de la nieve. They boil it. They do something quick. You know, you're just eating whatever, right? Just to go through the day. But it's the experience. You know, it's just meeting. It was a group of like 10 people, meeting some people from different parts of the world. And now you have this experience with them. We're 5 days. We're here in the mountains, in the middle of no fucking where.
Taking shits behind trees.
You know? Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom, bro. So, no vengan pa' acá, you know?
If I don't come back in 10,
go check.
A bear got me.
Yeah, you know, but I'm saying like that experience, like, man, again, you know, Peru is beautiful. I mean, you get into like Machu Picchu, you know, all that, another wonder of the world, you know, so it's beautiful. I have to say this, Colombia. I was there for 3 months. And Colombia me recuerda tanto a Mexico. Like, I feel they're sister countries. The people, the culture, you know, they're just so down to earth. I actually still have some good really friends in Cali. We met them in Thailand, and we spent a couple weeks in Colombia with them because they like we met in Thailand. They're like, hey, whenever you guys in Colombia, doors open for you guys. And we were there. We met their parents, or their sister, brother, como familia. You know, after meeting somewhere on the other side of the world, now we're meeting over here, and they're like hang out. We think we stayed a week with them. They had their house, and then nos llevaban. Le llaman, ¿cómo le llaman? Yo le llamaba el rancho, but they la finca le llamaban. They had a fucking finca with 8 bedrooms and pools and shit. I was like, this is dope,
There was a reason why they were in Thailand, bro. Come on,
yeah. There was a reason. So I mean, they were doing well. And again, awesome people. To this day, we still keep in touch with them. They keep telling us, now you got 2 kids, come over here, we can still hang out. Cool people. So Colombia was another one. And then if you like the beach, Bali, like Indonesia, the Philippines is another big one, like 100%. And then partying, I mean, I had never gone to like a crazy, event, nada. And then now it's in Ibiza in Spain. We could see like David Guetta, we saw Afrojack, and I mean, fucking 4 or 5, 6 en la mañana, y la madre. Yo no sabía qué decía. Yo, you're drinking. That's the only thing. It was $15 euros for a beer, so almost $20.
Damn.
So beer. 15 euros is $20, or roughly.
I mean, maybe at this point, but usually it's not $1 to a euro. It's like 70, 80 cents to a euro. So you're at $18, $19 per beer.
Ooh, that sounds like a cup game beer, bro. We can skip on that.
You see?
Yeah, but it was one of those things I wanted to do. So I'm like, I'm not gonna hold back on this one. We're gonna go. So
pick and choose.
Cool. It was cool, man.
Another maybe like spot that you probably wouldn't go back.
I think. I mean, again, I'll be honest. Europe is nice. There's some cool spots, pero no tiene mucha cultura. Like it's very similar to the U.S., right? You go to a lot of the cities, they're the same.
Go check out the art. Go check out the building.
Yeah, like
architecture.
It's like the only one you saw a little bit more cultura and stuff was like when I was in Spain. I mean, and then I guess I get into like Greece and Italy. I mean, you'll see that by like the northern part because I was in the UK, I was in Ireland, we're in Sweden. I mean, the Netherlands. Oh, then again, I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
They say Greece is beautiful. That's not on your top 5.
Yeah, well, that's another one. Santorini and Mykonos. We were there, and again, I'm like, man, it's hard. And then I have to put Mexico out there, right? Because Oaxaca and Chiapas, dude. I think we spoke about this. Like 100%. Like the people, the food. Like, man, I know most of us are from the northern part of Mexico, right? And then that's you see the more the Americanized side of things up there, or people that go and travel. But Oaxaca and Chiapas, man, I would go back in a heartbeat. Like I would be like, that's where. If you tell me where do you want to go and like really enjoy it, like I think those are my 2 spots there.
That's where it's at. Hell yeah!
I got another question.
Go ahead.
Did you guys see all 7 wonders? Is there 8 now? I thought they added 1. But did you guys see all 7 already?
No.
Close?
No, I think the one in Brazil. We didn't make it to Brazil. So El Cristo, the big one is there. I mean, I think most of us have. I don't want to say most, but Chichen Itza.
Quintana Roo.
Rome, the Colosseum. We saw that when we were there. So I at least have 4. I'm trying to see which one.
Machu Picchu you mentioned?
Yeah, we were in Machu Picchu. We actually went up fucking Machu Picchu. I mean, you get there, and then you could still climb the mountains. We climbed 2-3 hours, and then you get a view of actual Machu Picchu from the top. Like, insane, dude. Like, we spent more than 14 hours there. But again, we did it ourselves. A lot of people go on a tour. Ivan y los traen en chinga y muévanse y caminen
You were like,
aquí.
hey, let's enjoy.
No, llegamos allí. We spent a day or 2. Se llama la ciudad, se llama Aguascalientes. You spend, because it's so high, you need to like take a day or 2 because it will hit you. You're walking. And it's like, I remember in Cusco, the first time we were in a bank was the first time that I felt altitude sickness. I was there. Me metí. Pinche madre, todo me daba vueltas.
Where the hell is this at?
Cusco's Peru.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
Cusco's like the city you fly to go to Machu Picchu.
Got it, okay.
And then you take a train. You could walk there. You could take a bus. Like there's a lot of ways you can get to there. But we stayed in Aguascalientes, and then 2 days after we just did the hike ourselves, up, down, but it was like 14 hours that we were just, peanut butter. Jelly was our best friend. It's an energy, peanut butter, really.
A little bit of protein.
And the other one, people think it's bad, but the coca leaves. So, coca leaves derive the cocaine, but coca leaves, and in like Colombia and Peru and Ecuador, like people use it. Yeah. So I would comprabas en la tienda, like si fuera pinche orégano, y yo las compraba y las mascaba. So one, they give you energy, and two, they kind of take away your hunger. And then there was mountains that we'd be climbing, y yo más que todo aquí dormido.
Brought back memories. My bad. Me pasé.
I was gonna tell you like this was wild. I was gonna tell you like the indigenous with the peyote too. Like so Taj Mahal, Colosseum, Chichen Itza, Machu Picchu.
I think the other one is in up north in China from Shanghai.
The Great Wall. Okay.
Great Wall.
Did you guys see it?
No, I went to Shanghai. We spent like 2-3 weeks in China.
So you got like 3 left, brother. That's not a lot.
Yeah,
that's not a lot
unless they keep adding shit.
Right. So it's the Cristo, and then the Great Wall, and then I don't know what the 8th one is. I know they just added it though.
Yeah.
The pyramids in Egypt probably.
Oh yeah, I think in Giza. I think it's or is it Giza or something? But I think that's the other one.
So you're probably missing about 3 or 4, compa. That you're not far off.
But now they're all over the spot, right? One's in the like Middle East, one's in China, one's over here in Central America.
I mean, you got me knocked, bro. I've only seen Chichen Itza. I don't think I've seen the rest, bro. So you got me knocked. You got a lot, bro.
If you go to Cancun or Playa and you don't go to Chichen Itza, like did you even go? Like it's one of those things where people just they have to go, right?
Yeah.
I've already gone, bro. And anytime somebody's mentioning that they're going, I tell them you got to go check it out. It's amazing. Like you're already there. Like go. It's
hot,
but it's dope as hell, bro. It's beautiful. Oh man. Yeah. But you got a lot under your belt, bro. That's amazing.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap this up, bro. Man, ya se acabó la hora. Ya se acabó. Yeah, bro. It went by fast, man.
It did, bro.
Yo todavía tengo 2-3 horas in my pocket, so.
I'm sure you do, bro. And hopefully you'll accept another invitation back.
Hey, next time we'll talk about different stuff. But I tell people I'm a talker, and I get going, and you talk about something you're passionate about. Honestly, like I can talk all day, and not just talk out of my ass, right. Because I think again, we talk about time being valuable. If you want to spend time with someone, like it has value to you, right? Is there a time que te agarras con los compas a pistear? Of course, but that again, that's a balance, right? Mm-hmm. You have to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But for me, it's like, can I sit down? Can I talk to you? And like, let's not just discuss this madre. Let's talk opportunities. Let's talk about growth mindset. How can you challenge yourself? It's easy to talk about. Hay un seis y pistear.
Yeah.
Like I amigos para eso, right? 100%. And then there's other friends that like, look, bro, like you want someone you could reach out and like, hey, bro, I'm having an issue like in life. Let's talk. Help me out. I think those are far and few. Like hay a couple que puedes contarlos con las manos que puedes hacer eso. Porque para el desmadre todos estamos puestos. But it's the other side of how many people can you really depend when you need a favor.
I agree.
Big facts.
I want to thank you, bro, for coming on and giving us your time to be on the pod. And any shout outs, bro, that you got, man?
Chingo. Dejen saco la lista. No, dude, but obviously, being in Chicago, we spoke about the whole promotion company, and then everything. So obviously worked with Paul and Israel for many years. I know we also got engaged with you and worked with you on, different things, and obviously to this day, I stay in touch with you, yeah. With Paul, yes, todavía Israel, todos los veo. Paul lo vi last year, we were playing softball, so again, everything happens for a reason, right? Everyone, I think it's in your life for whether it be this or that, but again, shout out to all the people I have met, I met you a couple of times too now, so, yeah. People get placed for a reason, right? And there's always a why. And again, sometimes people are placed there just for a year or two and they serve their purpose.
Yeah.
So, pero again, I've been around, and I hopefully, primeramente Dios me da chance to keep doing this. I love to travel, man. And again, it's what I tell people, traveling, it just puts you in a different spot, in a different mindset that nothing ever will. You know, again, people say don't live like a life 40 years doing the same thing over and over and call it a life, right? You're doing the same thing, you know, por 40 años. That's not life. Like, get out there, do different shit, you know, follow that passion, take risk. You know, I think we're taught, como hispano, head down, work hard, be grateful, which is to some extent I appreciate it, but I'm like, what about the other side? Like, bro, like, take risk. Like, sabes que si no me gusta esto, I'm gonna try this. Fucking do it. And I think our you know, our culture sometimes is risk averse, so we don't want to take risks. So last thing would be for anyone, you know, I mean, take that risk. If you're thinking about something, doing something, do it. What's the worst they could do? Like, you're like, well, I fail. I never see failure as an option. You learn, right? You never fail. You learn from what happens, and then just, again, get better at moving.
100%. Shout out to the kids. When they see this in a few years,
I
gotta bring, save you, bro.
El compa Adriel y our baby Ariana. I mean, again, now it's tough being a dad, right? But I think a lot of people understand, you know, the other side of that, of you get home, you see your kids, or, you know, there's tough days, and then it's like, damn,
it's fun, bro.
Damn, yeah.
I love it, man.
You look at them and you're like, ese cabrón es mío. Right? So
the wife, shout out the wife.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've been shouting out all through the podcast, right?
Before we end it, I'm giving you your last chance, bro. So you're like, hey, you didn't even say my name at the last.
Shout out to the wife, right?
Of course.
I mean, again, I mentioned how much, you know, support she's been through all the years, right? And again, it's one of those things that having the right partner in life can make or break, you know. And then
100%.
And I tell people it's making sure that you pick the right person you decide to spend the rest of your life with, because it's not always gonna be sunny days. Fucking got a tornado today, right? It's how you respond to those bad days that, as we had said, makes your relationship stronger. And then I think generation nowadays, some people are quick to quit, right? Shit gets hard, I'm done. Versus, nah, dude, like, this is not a one and done. Like, you're gonna go through rough times. Figure shit out.
I agree,
bro. I agree. Thank you again, bro. Thank you everybody for listening, for watching. This is Compas Unfiltered. Estamos para la otra.
Peace.
Deuces.